We just finished looking at your homework from the Little Red Hen, checking to make sure that you had all your dress-up words underlined and that you made sure to include everything from your checklist. So I was just reminding you guys that that's super important when you do your homework, is to use that checklist, mark off things as you put them in. So don't check boxes. Like if you forgot a who, which clause, don't check the box until you put a who or which clause in there. Okay, then you check the box. So that's important that you do it that way. So we're finished with the Little Red Hen. So now what I need you to do is get out your binders. I know, Jana, I think your mom was going to help you attach yours to your Google Classroom. So after she does that, then you can put it away. But Matthew, and you're finished with yours, so you can go to the tab that says Finished Compositions here. And this one right here, hold it up so you can see it. That one that says Finished Compositions, go ahead and put the Little Red Hen behind that. And once you put it away and close up your rings, then I will help you get out the next lesson. And the next lesson is going to be behind the first tab called Source Texts, that one. And the next lesson that you're going to get out is week 9. And I'll show you what pages you need, okay? So go ahead and make sure to be mindful of your rings. Don't leave them open and then move pages around, okay? You got to make sure to close them when you're looking at your pages. Okay, so week 9 is called Deserts. It starts on page 71. So you need page 71. Do you have yours already, Matthew? Or you work? Okay. You need page, oops, hold on, these are out of order. You need this one that says the Sahara, that's page 73. You also need this one called the Gobi Desert, that's page 75. And then this yellow page, 77. And then page 79. So those are the pages you need. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need 5 pages from your binder. I'll show you again. 71, 73, 75, 77, and 79. Give me a thumbs up if you have those pages out. Hi, Kylie. Morning. We just got out the next lesson, so make sure you get that out of your binder. We are done with the Little Red Hen, so you can put that one away. And this one is week 9. Okay, so we just got these pages out, starting with 71. And it's 5 pages altogether.
Can I read you my paragraph real quick?
Maybe at the very end, but since you came in late, we kind of need to get started with our lesson. But I do want to hear your, are you talking about the Little Red Hen? Yeah, I do want to hear it at the end of class though, okay? Because that would be fun. So 71, 73, so they're the 5 pages here for week 9. the Sahara, the Gobi Desert, this yellow page, and then the checklist. So all the way through 79. Okay, I'm messaging Oliver and Ethier. It looks like they're having internet issues. So, all right, thumbs up if you got those 5 pages out. Good, Matthew, I see your thumb. Jana, did you get yours out? I don't know if you can hear me anymore, Jana. Okay, I see yours, Kylie. Okay, we're going to keep going. I recorded this, so it looks like a lot of people are having internet problems today, unfortunately. That's always difficult. All right, next, before we get into those pages you just got out, we're going to take some notes. So go ahead and get out a clean sheet of lined paper. And we're going to take some notes together first about this new unit. So we're moving on to a brand new unit now. The last unit, you learned how to do a story sequence chart. And this is going to be different. Oh, you're back, Jana. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did you already get your pages out of your binder?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yay. Go ahead, and we're starting on a new piece of paper here. So put your name here. And then today is June 20th. Unit 3 was all about a story sequence chart. And you did that with King Midas, and you did that with the Little Red Hen. And I think there was another story in there that you used it for. So you were telling about the characters in the setting, and then how they had a problem, and then how they solved their problem. And that was all about the story sequence chart. And that was unit 3. And now we're moving on to unit 4, which is more academic writing. And you're going to write like a report. And the first report you're going to write about is about deserts. And so now I want you to put on your note page here is go ahead and skip a line. And we're just going to call this unit 4. And the name of this unit is, it's a big word, summarizing a reference. Summarizing a reference. I'll let you copy that, and then I'll talk to you about what that means. That word summarizing, that's a big word. I see, if I were to cover up part of this word, I see that part that says sum, S-U-M, at the beginning of summarizing. And when I see that, I think of math. Like when you're adding numbers together, like 2 + 3, I'm going to give you a super easy kindergarten math problem. But if I had the math problem 2 + 3, what's the answer to 2 + 3? Does anybody know? You can show me on your hands. What's the answer? Yep, Jane, I see you showing 5. 2 + 3 is 5. So the sum of 2 + 3 is 5. So usually when I see that word sum, S-U-M, I'm thinking like everything all together. When you're adding up numbers, you're adding everything all together. But summarizing in writing is telling part of what you read. And then reference is basically the source that you're using for your information. It could be a book. It could be a website. It could be an article from a newspaper or a magazine. And for you guys, it's from your binder. We give you all the information you need. So your reference is the articles that you have in your binder. And one of them is called the Sahara. and that is the Sahara Desert. And you've probably heard that word before. I don't know if you've ever seen the Disney movie Aladdin, but he's in the Sahara Desert. That's where there's a lot of sand, not a whole lot of trees. And then, there's not a whole lot of animals there. But anyway, there's some. That's what we're going to learn how to do, though, is take some information and summarize it. So I wish they spelled this word differently, summarizing, because I wish, go ahead and skip a line. And over here, I want you to write the word some, S-O-M-E. And you know that word, that means like part of something. So if you say, Mom, may I have some cake? You don't want the whole cake, right? You can't eat the whole cake, but maybe you want a piece of cake or some cake. Some, and then put a dash, rise. That would make sense if they spelled that word summarizing, summarize like this, summarize, because then I want you to circle that word some. And remember, some means part. So that's really what you're doing. You're taking a lot of information and you're only telling your reader part of what you learned, not all of it, only part of it. And now underneath that, I'm going to have you draw a shape. And I want you to draw a funnel shape. It looks like this. You're going to draw, watch me first before you try to draw it. Kind of draw 2 angles like that. And then it's going to come down like this. See if you can draw that. That's called a funnel. Maybe you've seen that shape before when your mom or dad are working on the car and they're putting liquid in the car, like oil. Have you seen that, Kylie? Go ahead, you can say something.
In math, what they do is they do that, except with the lines at the bottom. But they do that to show what 2 times 2 is 4, and then plus that plus the number next to it.
So you've seen that shape before in math. Okay, that's good to know. Have you seen that shape before? Like I know you guys know I'm a farmer and I have a goat that I milk her into a bucket. But if I want to pour her milk from the bucket to a jar, it's hard to do. It'll spill really easily. So if I use a funnel, it's a little plastic piece that I can put in the jar. Then when I'm pouring it, it'll help get it in the jar without me spilling it. Have you seen that before, Kylie?
I used it once to get tea into a water bottle.
Perfect example. There you go. Because water bottles have a small opening. And if you're pouring something from something big to something small, this will help you. So it's the same idea with information. So I want you at the top of your funnel here, write the number 100. So we're just going to pretend like you're looking at an article that has 100 facts about something. Let's pretend like it's about volcanoes. And you've got interesting facts about the lava and the temperature of the lava and the ash that comes up into the air and how it affects the people nearby and how it affects the animals and then the plants and things have a hard time growing and the heat from it all. So you learn all this information, but you're only going to funnel it down to just a few facts. Okay. So you can narrow it down to maybe 15 after that, and maybe down to 10 after that. So just go ahead and put those numbers there to show you when you start with a lot of information, you're going to narrow it down. And eventually, I want you to put the number 5 at the very bottom and you're going to circle the 5. So you put 5 here. If you have 100 facts, it's really tricky, but you're going to need to only narrow it down to 5 to put in your paper. And you're wondering, how in the world are you going to do that, right? Because you have to, how do I know which ones to choose out of 100 or 15 or 10? But really, you got to narrow it down to 5 facts. Well, when you choose, on the side here, I want you to put that word choose and then a colon. And you're going to choose things that are interesting and important. And I'll give you a minute to write those down. Interesting and important. And that's really important to know because first is interesting. If you think it's interesting when you're reading about volcanoes and you go, whoa, that lava that moves really slow and the temperature is like 1,000 degrees or something like that, you might think that's so cool, it's so interesting. And if you think it's interesting, the person who's reading your paper is probably going to think it's interesting too. So you don't want to put something boring in your paper, right? Because then if you think it's boring, the person reading it is probably going to think it's boring too. So when you're deciding what 5 things to write about, what 5 facts from all these facts up here, when you're choosing your 5, you want to keep that in mind. You want to pick things that are interesting to you or important that you feel like people should know. Either interesting or important. That's how you decide on your 5 facts. Now, I'm going to show you a little model of what your outline is going to look like. Some of it will look familiar, but there's going to be a couple of new things about it. So go ahead and skip a couple lines here. Just make a bigger space down here. And then I just want you to set up a really simple outline like this. I am going to have you put a number 6, but this time this 6 is going to be in parentheses like that. Now that should look pretty familiar to you because we've been using outlines since you started my class, and that helps you with keywords, and then you use those words to write your sentences. So this should look pretty familiar to you. And the rules are still the same with it. So 3 words on each line. Those are the key words, right? And then you can use numbers and symbols and abbreviations. Those things are all free. You don't have to count those. So those rules are still the same for this part of the class, for this lesson. Now, a couple of things you're going to add. Next to this Roman numeral 1, I just want you to put the word topic. And then under the 6, I want you to put this word clincher. And we're going to talk about what that means. Topic and clincher. You already know what topic means because we've talked about that before. The topic is the part of the information that you're writing about. And for this one that we're going to write about today, it's the subject is deserts, but your topic is going to be one of the deserts, which happens to be the Sahara Desert. And so a topic is part of what you're writing about. It's like a subdivision of your subject. So I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. But your clincher comes at the end. And that word clincher reminds me of the word clinch. And if you know that word, it means to hold on to something really tightly. So if you grab your pencil and just squeeze it with a fist like this, like let's pretend your little brother or little sister or your little cousin or somebody little wants your pencil and you're trying to do your homework and that they're trying to just grab it out of your hand. You would grab it really tight so they couldn't get it, right? Because you're using it. You don't want them to take it from you. So you're clenching it, you're squeezing it, you're holding it really, really tight. That is what you're going to try to do through your writing. Okay, obviously you're not going to grab your paper because you'll wrinkle it and it'll be a big wad of a mess, right? You don't want to do that. But I'm talking about like figuratively. So when you're writing a paragraph and you get to your last sentence, you want that sentence to grab that reader to make them want to read more. You want it to be like, whoa, that's so cool. That's interesting. I want to read more about this. Okay. So this clincher, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this class, but it ties in together with the topic. Okay. So there's a couple more words I want you to write here in the margin. You're going to have to write kind of small, but I want you to write in the margin right here next to number 2, the word repeat. And then I'm going to write it out and you can copy me, okay? Repeat or reflect 2 to 3 key words. I'll give you a minute to write that down. Repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay, and once you got that written down, I want you to draw an arrow from the bottom of words here to clincher, and then you're going to draw at the top of repeat up here to topic. So you see how they both go, this goes up here to topic, this one's down here to clincher. Because they connect. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. You know what the word repeat means, right? If I were to say the word cow, what would you say? If I told you to repeat the word cow, what would you say? If you repeat the word, though, if I say repeat the word cow, you would say cow, right? What if I said the word cat? What would you say?
Cat.
Cat. You're just going to repeat it, right? If I say repeat the word tree, what would you say?
Tree.
Exactly. So you get it. Repeating is the exact same word. Now, if I have a new word and I want you to reflect, that means a word that's close to the same word, but not the same word, like a synonym. Like if I said little, if you reflect the word little, you would say tiny, right? Because little and tiny are 2 different words, but they're mean about the same thing, right? Or if I said the word big and I said reflect the word big, what could you say?
Big.
What's it? Oh, say it again, Jana.
Little?
No, what's another word that's like big? It means almost the same thing, but it's not the same word.
Large?
There you go. Now you got it. So if I said big and I want you to reflect, you could say large or huge or giant or something like that. Okay, so that's similar, almost the same, but a little bit different. And then it says 2 to 3 key words. So you already know key words. You've been using those a lot in your outlines. Those are words that are important, not words like it or the or is or things like that. Those are not keywords. Keywords are the important words of the sentence. Okay, so the saying goes like this, and I'm going to do it for you. So you watch me first, and you can do the hand motions with me, but just listen to me first, and then we'll practice it together. But it goes like this: the topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay, so let me go over that with you. Key is like turning the key when you open a door or when you start the car, right? You got to turn it. So key, like you're turning a key. And then words is you're just holding out your hand like this. Okay, so now this time I'm going to say it and then you copy me, okay? But you got to do your hands and you have to say what I say too. So let me say it and then you copy me. Ready? Everybody get your hand ready. Matthew and Jana. And then you repeat it after me. Ready? The topic sentence
The topic
Sentence.
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 and the clincher sentence
The clincher sentence.
Clincher sentence.
must,
Must.
there you go, make a fist and say must.
Must.
Okay. And then you're going to put two fingers together like this and then do a little curve like that. So you're going to say repeat or reflect.
Yeah.
Repeat or reflect. And then you're going to do 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
There you go, 2 or 3. And then key
Key.
words. Okay, one more time. And when I do the topic sentence, notice my hand is up higher. And then when I say clincher, my hand is low. Okay, so let's try that. The topic sentence
Topic sentence.
and the clincher sentence
And clincher sentence.
must
Must.
repeat or reflect
Yes. Or reflect.
2 or 3
2 or 3
key
key
words.
words.
Okay, one more time. Ready? The topic sentence
The topic sentence
and the clincher sentence
and the clincher sentence
must
must
repeat or reflect
or reflect
2 or 3
3
key words. All right, that's pretty good. Now that's what I taught you right here. Here's your topic sentence, your first sentence of your paragraph. Your clincher sentence is way at the bottom. And this is what it does. Repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay, so now from here, we're going to read the first article, which is called The Sahara. So go ahead and get this page out. It's page 73, and it's called The Sahara. Now, you're going to learn how to write a report, and your report is going to be about deserts. And this is the first paragraph of your report. You're going to take information that you get from here and put it into your own paragraph. Now, remember that funnel. There's a lot of facts in here, way more than you need. And so what we're going to do is find the interesting facts. We're going to find 5 of them, maybe 6 if we need 6 interesting facts in here to write about in your paragraph. So the first thing I'm going to do is just read it. And then I'm going to show you how to go back and find information that you think is interesting. So just follow along on yours as I read. It's called The Sahara. In a desert, little rain or snowfall occurs, so living conditions are hostile. The world's largest hot desert is the Sahara Desert. The world's largest cold desert is the Antarctic. The Sahara stretches across the whole African continent from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea, consisting mostly of vast sand seas called ergs. This desert mysteriously shifts around all the time as if it were alive. The climate is severe. During the hot months, day temperatures soar to over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So when you see that little tiny circle right there, that stands for degrees, okay? And Fahrenheit is how we measure degrees. So it's like we measure length in inches or feet. When you're talking about temperature, you measure with Fahrenheit. Now, this says 50 degrees Celsius. In other countries, they use Celsius. In America, in the United States of America, we use Fahrenheit. So you don't need to worry about this one. It's just there in case your country uses Celsius instead. Okay. If water runs underground near the surface, green, fertile places called oases appear. People can live near an oasis. On the shores of the Nile River that flows through the Sahara, the ancient Egyptian civilization thrived. Because water is scarce, that means it's hard to find water in the desert. Because water is scarce, only about 70 kinds of animals survive in the Sahara. These creatures can live for long periods of time without water. Avoiding the horrific heat of the day, vipers, lizards, and sand foxes and gerbils stay on the ergs in their burrows. Okay, there's a little bit more on the back, so I'm going to keep reading on the back. They obtain water in the foods they find at night. White gazelles and addax, or screwhorn antelopes, also roam on the dunes. Amazingly, camels, which provide transportation in the Sahara, can go for nearly a week without water. Okay, interesting information here. So now the next step is to underline some of the facts that we want to include in our report. So with your pencil, I'm going to show you the best way to do this, for at least for this part of the paper. We're going to underline and label the information we found interesting. So going back to the beginning, I thought it was really interesting that it's the largest hot desert. So with your pencil, I'm not going to worry about that first sentence, but right here where it starts with the world's largest hot desert is the Sahara Desert, I just want you with your pencil to underline that sentence. Because to me, that was pretty interesting. Now, remember, you're not going to use all of the facts in this, right? You're going to pick the ones that are most interesting. Eventually, you're going to do that by yourself. But for this one, I'm going to show you how I would do it if it were me. Now, next to that, I want you to put the Roman numeral 1. I know it looks like an I, but that's the Roman numeral 1. That is going to be what you use on your outline for Roman numeral 1, talking about the Sahara Desert is the world's largest desert. And then it says the world's largest, coldest desert is Antarctica. That's interesting, but it's not going to be, I don't think I need to have that in my report. So I'm not going to use that one. But this next part tells about how big it is. And I think that's pretty cool. It's actually almost as big as the United States of America, one desert. It's that big. So I'm going to underline this sentence. The Sahara stretches across the whole African continent from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. Go ahead and underline that whole sentence. It's pretty long. And then next to that, I just want you to write a regular number 1 with a circle around it like that. That's going to be what you use on your outline next to regular number 1. You're going to find some key words from that sentence to put in your outline. I know I'm doing a lot of talking this lesson is because it's kind of new to you. But after you get used to this a little bit, you're going to do most of the talking when we get going with this, okay? So looking at more information, I think I'm going to move down here. I remember this talking about the 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's crazy how hot that is. So I think that would be interesting to include in my report. So I'm going to skip down here. There's 2 parts to this. I'm going to underline the climate is severe, and then I'm going to keep going and underline all the way to Fahrenheit. So find that. Those are 2 sentences. We're going to combine that on your outline into one number there so that you can use your keywords from that for your outline. So go ahead and put a number 2 and then circle that. You're going to see what all that means in a minute. It'll make sense to you once we get through this part. And then I remember it talking about this underground oasis thing. And I think that's pretty interesting too. This oasis that's underground and there's water there. I think that would be interesting to include in my report. So right here where it says if water runs underground near the surface, go ahead and underline that whole part right there. And that's going to be number 3. If water runs underground near the surface, green fertile places called oases appear. I also remember them talking about animals. I want to include that in my report because I think animals are cool and they're interesting. So down here it talks about 70 kinds of animals. These creatures live a long time, periods of time without water. So I think I'm going to underline right here where it says these creatures can live for long periods of time without water. And what we're talking about here are the animals. So go ahead and put a number 4 for that one. And then I'm going to underline just part of this next sentence. Actually, let's underline the whole next sentence. It starts with avoiding horrific heat. I like the idea of talking about what animals are in that desert in my report. So I'm going to put a number 5 here. That's a number 5. So far we've got our topic, which is Roman numeral 1 up here at the top. And then we've got our facts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I know there's a little bit more on the back page. So I am going to use number 6 on the back page. So once you have that last one underlined on this side, go ahead and turn your page over to the back here. And on the back, it's talking about more animals right here, white gazelles, addax, and then these screwhorn antelopes. They also roam on the dunes. This is going to be number 6 on the back. Okay, thumbs up if you copied mine and underlined your sentences, put the numbers next to them if you're got all that finished. Okay, good. Now, we have one more thing before you go. So you need a new, fresh, clean piece of lined paper. Now we're going to set up your outline. So go ahead, you know what to do. Label your paper with your name and date right here. My marker is going out June 20th. Now you're going to write your subject at the top, which happens to be deserts. Don't put 2 S's in there because then it would be desserts. And that wouldn't be right. We're not talking about desserts today. Gotta write a note here. Okay. And then you're going to skip a line and let's start writing your outline here with your Roman numeral 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're actually going to start writing on this one. And then I want you in the margin to put topic here next to Roman numeral 1. And then at the bottom here, next to 6, I want you to put clincher, and we're going to practice that more next week, but whoops, you can't really see that, huh? Let me move that over. There we go. The first topic you're going to write about is the Sahara. So go ahead and write Sahara here next to number 1. Remember, you're going to use these keywords to write your report about the Sahara Desert. And remember, this is where all your facts go about the Sahara. But we did do some notes here on your actual article. And look where we put Roman numeral 1. We put the world's largest hot desert is the Sahara Desert. So we already have Sahara. Now we can put largest and hot. Do you see how I got those words? Those are key words from that sentence that we labeled Roman numeral 1. All right. Now, here's what your homework assignment is this week. You are going to finish writing this outline. Now, don't panic. It's going to be pretty easy because look, you already have them labeled. So see right here where you have a regular number 1. The information, the key words from here, from number 1, are going to go right here next to regular number 1. For example, the Sahara stretches across the whole African continent from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. You could say Sahara. No, you don't need to say Sahara again. You could say whole and then put African continent and then a big arrow. That tells you it stretches across the whole African continent, right? That's an example of the keywords you can put here for number 1. Then you go to number 2, you already have it labeled here. The climate is severe. During the hot months, day temperatures soar over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you could say climate, severe, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you go to number 3. You see how I'm doing that? It connects here. These numbers connect to what you underlined. And you're just going to choose key words from each one of those facts and put it in the outline, and then you'll write your paragraph using your outline. We're going to go over topic and clincher again next week. So you can try repeating or reflecting 2 or 3 keywords in your topic sentence and your clincher sentence, but we're going to talk about it more in class, and then I'll show you some examples of that as well. Okay, I know that was like talking, a lot of me talking, and it kind of went fast, but give me a thumbs up if you know what to do for your homework, or if you have any questions, let me know, but give me a thumbs up if you know what to do. Okay, good. So you're going to finish this outline and write 1 paragraph using your outline of your report. Don't forget to double space. Okay, it's really important when you write your paragraph to double space. Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about today, or any questions about your homework? Okay, good. Well, phew, that was kind of fast, but I'm done with that for today. So I'm going to stop